Fantastic. Good to see everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're chiming in from. I want to welcome all of our newest members to our Saturday Locker Room. My name is Greg, just in case we haven't met already. It seems like such a long time since I've seen all you guys' beautiful faces, and it's good to be here and come together on Saturday. And just to let all the newest members know, we have these locker rooms on Saturday because we want to show people that they're 1,000% supported. We go over some different topics on our locker room. We talk about leadership, which is so important when you're going to build a global enterprise. We talk about increasing people's financial literacy because, as we all know, that's not really taught in our schools and institutions, right? And that's why people flounder out here from going from deal to deal to deal. We want to create an environment where people can come and really learn and grow in a safe space. We talk about how our particular project fits in the micro or macro scope of what's happening globally, because unfortunately, a lot of people don't really understand what's happening around the world and how our project fits into that perfectly. I'm talking about literally being the tip of the spear in terms of being able to write our own tickets financially, and I'm excited about that. And so having said that, I always share this with all the newest members that sometimes, whether I'm doing it or Doug or Bridget or any other leader that's coming through the ranks that's going to be doing these locker rooms, we may say some things from time to time that may rub you the wrong way. And I always like to say, charge that to our head and not our hearts, okay? Because we're not here to offend anybody. We're just so freaking serious about what it is that we're doing. We know that this isn't your first rodeo being a part of different businesses in the past. And so this is your last stop to financial interdependence, as I like to say. So take this very, very seriously. I want to encourage you guys to take out pen and paper to take some copious notes. We're going to be talking about some things today. We're going to be talking about what, why, and how on some things today. And it's going to be very, very important because I was talking to some leaders throughout the week. And so as we're bouncing things off of each other, as we're building our businesses, that's typically how we come up with what we're going to be talking about on Saturday, because we always got our finger on the pulse of what's going on in our global community. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that. I want to start off by asking a quick question to you guys, and like any volunteers, just to go ahead and just raise their hand or shout out an answer. And if I was to ask any of our members out there in one word, what would be this word that separates successful members from those members that may not have success at this moment in time? Anybody want to think about or share what they think that one word is that separates the people that have success versus those who don't have success? This
Belief.
is belief. Thank you for that.
Perseverance. Perseverance.
Perseverance.
Integrity.
Action.
Action. Integrity.
Mindset.
Coachable.
No fake.
Somebody said it.
Coachable.
There you go. Right there.
Determination.
Team. The answer is coachable. Because if you're coachable, we're going to tell you to be consistent. If you're coachable, we're going to tell you to have a positive mindset. The word is coachable. And the reason why I want to start off with that is because a lot of times people, they've been in the people-to-people space in one form or the other, whether it's network marketing, affiliate marketing, high ticket, various forms, percent daily programs. And so they say, well, I've been involved in this for 20 plus years, as if that gives them the right to not be coachable when they get into a brand new environment like a cooperative ecosystem. It would be like Michael Jordan saying, because I'm the greatest basketball player ever, that can translate into me being a professional baseball player, right? That didn't translate. That wasn't a transferable skill. And so he had to have a coach to teach him how to play baseball, if you will. Or it'd be like if Tiger Woods, for instance, said, because I'm a great, golf, player, I can swing a club, that translates that I can swing a bat as a professional baseball player. No, it doesn't work that way. And I'm sharing that with some of you that have led different organizations in the past, and I get it, and we respect your leadership. But we all have to humble ourselves at some point in time or another when you get into a brand new environment like a cooperative ecosystem that on a very small granular level is so different. But it makes all the difference in the world in the outcome. And so as a global community, Smarter Than Money more specifically, we've been involved with this thing for 5+ years. As I like to say, we have lowered the ignorance tax for all of you. There is no one in the cooperative ecosystem that knows more about it than our community. Okay, we've been through the ups and downs and all around. So for those of you that are new and you're leaders and you have influence, respectfully, just be coachable, right? Now, I know a lot of times as men, we have a tendency to have our egos in place and everything like that. And we have a great group of leaders that are men that we've been able to lower that, and we respect each other's discipline. Women have a tendency to be a little bit more coachable. They're a little bit more communal in that. It's more of a natural thing. But I want to share that with you guys up front, that especially if you plan on really being successful, just be coachable, because we're not going to tell you anything to hurt you, because it doesn't benefit anyone if you're not making money, if that makes sense. So we have a vested interest in each other being successful. So leverage off of the experience that those of us that have been around this thing for some time, so that you can go ahead and just go over those landmines, because I've seen people that can really knock this thing out the park, but because they're not coachable, they go down this slippery slope and then they fizzle out because they thought they knew what they were doing. We don't want that to happen for anyone out there, okay? So coachability is key to becoming successful here, all right? Now, the second question I want to ask you guys before we dive into it, because we're going to play baseball today, is if you're looking at your organization as a leader, you're building your business, because everybody on here, you are a business owner. Make no bones about it. Even if this is your first time building a business, it takes a different mindset. It takes a totally different disposition to build a business than being an employee. See, being an employee, you can just show up and clock in and get a check. But in business, you get paid based on your results. So it takes a different disposition, a different type of thickness of your skin, a higher emotional EQ, as we like to say. And you're going to gain all that if you're coachable and you stay plugged into our environment. You're going to learn all these things. It's going to become second nature to you. But the second question I have, as a business owner, what is the best, let's say, indicator of your organization being healthy or not? If you had to look at one indicator, okay, what would you guys say is that indication that will let you know if your business is growing healthy or it has dis-ease set in it? Anybody want to take a shot at that?
People not plugging in.
People not plugging in. Thank you for that, Shahid.
Communication.
Communication.
Duplication. That's good. You got it.
Duplication.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, guys, in a different way so that you guys understand. I want you guys to get real specific in terms of income producing type of activity. What do you guys would say is the indicator on whether that you can look at as a business owner to determine if your organization is getting healthy or it's not healthy, not breathing well?
Profits. See growth.
Growth.
Profits in your wallet.
Financial growth.
Invite.
Residual income. Residual.
Gotcha.
How many people are sharing the plan?
Invite.
All right, somebody said it.
Yep, sharing the plan. That
Okay,
STP.
Financial growth, no?
there you go. Let me share this with you guys.
Team growth and financial growth.
Here's the answer. Strategic partnership meetings. Let me say it again, you guys. SPMs. If you want to have a clear indication of how to look at your business on a daily, weekly, and ultimately a monthly basis, you need to identify how many strategic partnership meetings are happening in your cooperative. All right. I was having a conversation with a leader about this earlier this week, right? And it's also in the new member orientation. I'm going to break this thing down for you guys because, see, here's the thing. It's not what you don't have. It's what a lot of people think that they need that's keeping them from success. You already have everything that you need. It's just a matter of fine-tuning and understanding critical success factors, being coachable, and then how many strategic partnership meetings are happening in your cooperative. Now, that's going to hit a lot of people in between their eyes, simply because if you're not one that's doing a strategic partnership meeting, then let that be an indication that you want to begin to start doing them yourself. And I'm going to break all of this down for you guys here in just a moment through our GPS system. Let me show you guys why I started talking about this here real quickly, all right? I'm going to go here and share my screen here. And let's see, let's do this. I'm going to pull this up. All right. Now, let me go ahead and get out of the way there. Now, we're going to play baseball here, you guys. And I already drew the whole field, so to speak. Okay. And I want to show you guys this so that you guys have a visual representation for yourself that you can look at. And this is how you want to build your organization. All right. So you have the pitcher's mound and then you have home plate here. So home plate would be going up to bat. And that's basically piquing someone's interest, if you will. Call them a friend or someone like that off of your list, which is the first thing that you want to do is build your list. You got to build the list, team. And don't prejudge anybody. Just start putting pen to paper and just put names and numbers down there. Okay. And even if you don't know the number, put their name down there and you'll get their number later, but just make a list. And typically at the top of your list are going to be the people that if you were stuck on the side of a road and you didn't have AAA, who would be those people that you would call that would come get you and rescue you from being on the side of a highway? Those are the people that you want to put at the top of your list. Or who would you have in your wedding as your groomsman or your bridesmaid? Those are the people that you should be wanting to get wealthy with, right? And then you're going to just simply call them up and simply ask them, say, listen, this is a business call. I just want to know, Charles, do you look at other ways of diversifying your income, man? I'm excited about something I want to share with you. Okay. So that's home plate. You want to pitch, right? You want to pique someone's interest. And the purpose of it is you want to get them to first base, which is your SPM. That's your strategic partnership meeting. That's the first thing that you want to do. The purpose of piquing someone's interest, okay, is to set the appointment. You don't want to make a grandmother out of the bride. Too many people are getting on the phone with people and saying, hey, listen, there's something that you got to do. You get 3 people and they get 3 people and then we're going to become a millionaire. No, you don't want to do that. Building your business and recruiting, for lack of a better word, is a process. It's not an event. It's a process. So in baseball, if you were to hit the ball and go straight to second base, you would be out because you didn't go to first base, right? So a lot of you are trying to hit home runs every time. Just hit base hits. The strategic partnership meeting is critically important because it's a small, intimate meeting that you and your closest friends can talk about getting wealthy together, that you can perform, or if you have an expert on deck that's there to help you, that's what you want to have. Now, having said that, team, for those of you who are in leadership position, you have a cooperative, you bring someone in and they're not willing to be coachable and have a strategic partnership meeting, you better have in the back of your mind that you better be looking to replace them sooner than later because they've already shown you that they're not going to be coachable, right? So this is how you indicate and identify your players. This is what I do, all right? I know this is what, Douglas does. This is what Bridget does, other leaders, Bishop Garnett, okay, Pastor Stack and others, Beverly Davis. The list goes on and on, but it's about identifying your leaders, your players, okay? So the SPM, the strategic partnership meeting, that's why we have the PDF back there so that you can have that. So the strategic partnership meeting, it creates accountability. Now, obviously, new people, sometimes they're a little bit gun shy, but this is why you have to get with them and help them understand the importance of being coachable. Now, this goes back to this. All right, we talked about GPS, right? Remember we talked about GPS? And what is GPS? You focus on growth over destination. Excuse my writing here. I shouldn't even started writing on this thing. Over destination. Right? So help a new person understand, like, don't worry, it's all about growth. Don't worry about the $1 million and all that. This is about growth over destination. P is about progress over perfection, okay? And S is stagnation is then replaced by expansion. So we want to get all of our newest members in the mindset when they first get started, there's plenty of money here to be made. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. but don't focus on the destination of $40,000, $50,000, $100,000, $175,000 a month. Focus on growth over the destination of that amount of money, right? Then focus on progress over perfection. Well, I can't do a presentation like Douglas Ford. Well, you didn't put in the hours that D. Ford's put in. Or I can't speak as calmly and with conviction like a Bridget Copeland Harris. Well, you haven't put in the 10,000 hours yet. Trust me, you will get there and you're going to have your own style and version. So just focus on progress over perfection. But the key is to be coachable. Don't quit on yourself and understand that you're getting in leader shape. Make sense? So now, the reason why you want to have the SPM is because then from the SPM, you take them to second base, which is the team overview or team meeting. The team meeting. Now, because if the first exposure is the team meeting where it's a bigger group, then you don't have any other place to take them to. You don't have anything bigger to expand their vision of what's possible, right? So when you start off with the SPM, it's really intimate. You help them make sense of it, and then you promote the team meeting where they see more people, right? That allows them to realize that they're not a guinea pig, that there are other people that see this just as you and them are seeing this, all right? Because if you put them right to the team event, the team overview, like I said, you don't have anything bigger for them to go to from there, right? So do yourself a favor, set up a one-on-one, a two-on-one, a small strategic partnership meeting first as a first exposure. Then you can promote. So I want to introduce you to our overall team meeting, and various leaders have different team meetings happening throughout the week, right? Now, that's the bigger vision. Then from the team meeting, you're going to move them to, once they get started, new member orientation, right? That's going to show that not only is there a community, not only is there a bigger group of people that see this thing, but there's 1,000% support for them as well to get them onboarded, to get their questions answered and things of that nature, right? So this is critically important that we play baseball. Now, we're not saying that you don't do a new member orientation yourself. You still want to do it because you want to practice doing new member orientation. You want to do as much as possible to be an example, because what duplicates, duplicates. If you're not doing strategic partnership meetings or PDF meetings and things of that nature, then don't expect to have a growing community of people that's going to do it. You know, one of the things that I've realized that some people have the mindset, not in our community, but there's been people in the network marketing space and affiliate marketing, things of that nature, and they have a mindset that if I can get a whole bunch of people to do what I'm not willing to do, I'm going to get rich. I don't, where does that happen at, right? So you want to get into a place where you are leading by example. You're doing SPM meetings. Be bad before you're good, good before you're great. You know, I got to tip my hat to Miss Sharon Cotton that did a meeting. And anyone that knows Sharon Cotton, part of our community, has the sweetest spirit of anyone that you can run into. I'm talking about a sweetheart, a gem of a human being, is shy by nature, but because of her conviction and her desire to see other people win, she was willing to overcome her shyness and step outside of her comfort zone and do a meeting, you guys. So I want to tip my hat to Sharon Cotton. We need more people doing that. And that's why she's winning and going to continue to win in this particular business, right? Now, from the new member orientation, you bring them all home, and that's locker room, right? That's when we come together, and we want our locker rooms to be more, we do more in-depth training, mindset, financial literacy, things of that nature. But eventually we want to turn this into like where you walk across the stage, where we're highlighting people that got their 3 in record time, or we're highlighting people that got their 3 who got 3 in record time and breaking records, where we're highlighting people that are ripping up, their mortgage, their mortgage because now their mortgage is taken care of. Or we're highlighting people that have put in their last notice because they've been able to fire their boss because they've received enough residual cash flow from this business. But the way that's going to happen, team, is we got to play baseball. And here's the key. You want to keep your bases filled so that you always have people coming on home, scoring runs, if that makes sense to everybody. So it's really, really important that you don't shortcut the shortcut, is what I'm saying to you. And if you do it right the first time, brick by brick, you're going to start to see your business exponentially grow because you're teaching proper protocol. You're teaching process, all right? That once this thing gains traction, it busts through the ground like a Chinese bamboo tree. So once again, be coachable. The other thing is understand that the critical success factor that you want to look at in your business, right? Because everyone's the king and queen of their own bank within our global community, is your strategic partnership meetings. I can tell you that if you don't have SPMs popping and you have people just waiting for the big team meetings, then we're not going to have the exponential cataclysmic growth that's waiting for us to have. So what's happening is that some members, they're not having the SPM. What they're doing is they're hiding in the herd, as I like to say. They're hiding in the team meeting, not holding themselves accountable to doing their part, not upholding their integrity to do their part. So it's like hiding in the herd like zebras so that you don't get caught by the lion. Those days are over. So what I want to suggest that all leaders do is today, really soon, the next 24 hours, look at your organization, identify those who have not had a strategic partnership meeting, get with them and get it scheduled. And if you're already on this call and you have not set up your SPM, and it doesn't even matter if you've been in a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, if you haven't had a strategic partnership meeting, set one up for yourself, because I can promise you this, what's going to happen is going to give you that needle in your behind that's going to make you do things that you should have already been doing that may be a little bit uncomfortable, but I promise you, growth over destination, right? Progress over perfection, and you will have success. There is no shortcuts to success, you guys. There's only systems and process to success, and we're laying it out for you. We're playing baseball here. Hopefully this is making sense to everyone, okay? So having said that, you guys, I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to stop my screen. Does that make sense? Oh, let me come back on camera here. Does that make sense to you guys so far, what's being shared here? Okay, fantastic. Make sure you treat it with the respect that it deserves in order to make that happen. Queen B, you have a question? Hold on.
You're all set now, Bridget.
Okay, thanks, Terry. I'm sorry, Greg. Once again, what is the S in GPS?
S is stagnation, okay, is replaced by expansion. Because
By expansion. Okay.
So if you're stagnant in your business, is because if you focus on, progress over perfection, right, and growth over destination, if you just put your attention on that and you teach that with everybody, then stagnation will be replaced by expansion. Your business will expand if people put their attention on that. It's kind of like, anybody ever been driving on a long trip with their kids and their family, and your kids be like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Some of you are asking yourself, are we there yet when it comes to, why ain't I at $2,000 a month? Why ain't I at $5,000 a month? Well, no, focus on, growth. Focus on progress, and you'll get there. So if anyone's ever driven with me, when I go with my girls and everything like that, the only time I want to stop is for gas. Barely if you got to use the bathroom. Just cross your legs and squeeze real tight, because we got to get to where we're going. We focus on progress. We got to get there, right? Don't ask me if we're there yet. You'll know when we get there, right? It'll just reveal itself to you, if that makes sense to everybody, okay? So now let me ask you guys this real quickly. You guys hear us say in our presentation, we talk about how the co-op wallet employs what? Artificial intelligence, the promise of blockchain, and cooperative funding, right? I want to go over this with you guys because I don't want you guys to think that we are just bumping our gums. Everything that we say and do matters. We've dotted our I's and crossed our T's. Now, when we talk about artificial intelligence, does anybody out there if anybody wants to what do you guys understand? What do you guys think is the power of artificial intelligence?
I think it's the power of the machinery, software, whatever, putting together all the knowledge that is put in it and be able to spit it out on demand.
Thank you for that, Garrett. Awesome.
Speed.
Health Minister, what'd she say?
Speed.
One more time.
Speed.
Speed. Fantastic.
S-P-E-E-D.
Gotcha. Let's see.
I would say it's
Yes, Steve.
taking all of the knowledge and learning from it in order to make it better and with speed that will accomplish exactly what you want it to do without the human interference.
Gotcha. Thank you for that, Steve. We'll go one more. Janet, what say you?
Okay. Automation. Sure.
Automation. Fantastic. Here's the thing. All those answers are correct. The reason why I'm going over this because you guys need to understand the power of when we say that, or if you're sharing this with your people that you're talking to, they need to understand the value of it. All innovation is designed to save time. All innovation is. And so when you look at artificial intelligence, you look at innovations in technology, robotics, it's to replace unnecessary drudgery. Think about that, team. Think about it from this standpoint. When I was growing up, and I'm dating myself here, before there was remote controls, my grandmother, I was the remote control. My grandmother would be, go and change the channel. And I get up, change the channel. We had maybe 3 or 4 channels that we had, 4, right, Steve? About 4 channels we had an option, and we clicked. Then we had the tinfoil antennas that we had to get. It was fuzzy. We had to fix and everything like that. But I was the remote. Now the remote control comes along, and it saved me from having to do that. A lot of you let you misplace your remote control today. Y'all tear up the whole house trying to find that remote control, right? Because it saves you time. Team, this is what I want you guys to understand what we got our hands on here. We got the most powerful business on planet Earth today. And let me share with you guys why. We have voice activation. We have self-parking cars, self-driving cars, right? Artificial intelligence, things of that nature. And you mean to tell me when it comes to our income generation, we still acting like we're in the 1700s, exchanging time for money? You don't have to do that anymore because we have this wallet that employs artificial intelligence that removes the drudgery of exchanging time for money. It's results-based, right? So we want to make sure we help people understand the value of this AI. See, here's the thing about artificial intelligence. We talk about replacing jobs. AI is not going to replace jobs. The people who use AI are going to replace your job. It's just like guns don't kill people. It's the people that use the gun that shoots people that kills people. Make sense? So either you're going to have somebody else leverage artificial intelligence and replace you, or we can leverage artificial intelligence ourselves in a way that doesn't control us, but it empowers us. That makes sense, everybody, so far? Okay. Now, the promise of blockchain. All right. Anybody want to share with me what that means? When you hear that, and the reason why I'm going over this, there's some of you that are familiar with blockchain. There's others of you that this is brand new stuff for you. Maybe you have a negative disposition around it because of crypto, FTX and all that kind of stuff. That's narrative. But does anyone know what the real value of blockchain is?
It's
immutable.
Immutable.
Immutable. Okay.
Neutral accounting system.
Would you say,
Can't be
Divine?
changed.
Decentralization.
Decentralization. Okay. What else?
Secure.
Secure.
Now, secure. Now, let me hear. I'm going over this for a reason. Everything that you guys said is correct. But every word that you guys said, do you think your cousin, your friend, or family knows what any of that means? Decentralization, immutable, right? See, you got to get granular on it. Let me tell you guys the real value of blockchain. It removes the middleman out of the equation. So you got to let them know what the real value is. It removes the unnecessary middlemen, the bankers, if you will, that create the pyramidal structure. We don't need them in the equation anymore because of blockchain. See, that's why FTX and all that. See, if you're the king of the mountain and you're controlling the flow and issuance of money, and a technology comes along that replaces you, you're going to do everything in your power to blacken the eye of an industry or innovation until you're able to circle your wagons and use it for your own benefit, and that's to maintain control. So understand that it removes the middleman. You got to let them understand that. Well, what's blockchain? The value of blockchain? Well, it removes the middleman out of the equation and allows us to keep all the cash flow. The second benefit of blockchain is instant transactions, you guys. Transactions are instant. See, if you understand, see, a lot of us, we don't understand how banking systems work, or companies that use credit cards and stuff like that. It moves very, very slow behind the scenes. We may see it instantly on our, on our cell phone or on our statement, but for the business owners and the banks and all that, it moves very slowly behind the scenes before it gets resolved. In our cooperative ecosystem, if I was to send $1,000 to anyone in our ecosystem anywhere in the world, how quickly does it happen? Instantaneously, right? So we employ artificial intelligence, the power, the promise of blockchain, and the promise of blockchain is the removal of middlemen and or women out of the equation. We don't need them. They're just siphoning our purchasing power. We get to recapture that, right? And transactions is instant because everything is going to be tokenized, okay? Now, let's talk about cooperative funding. Anybody want to tell me what I mean, or what we say cooperative funding, what we mean by that?
Stays within the community.
Okay.
Everybody paying the financial part.
What'd you say, Rosa? I'm sorry.
Everybody playing a financial part.
Okay, fantastic.
Member owned.
Leveraging. Okay. Let me tell you guys one more time. What was that?
It removes the red tape that's always connected to helping someone out.
Removes the red tape. Fantastic.
Global.
Thank you, Lady Z. Here's the deal about cooperative funding. This is where I want to get you guys to get granular. The cooperative funding is our one-time investment of labor. The cooperative funding is where we all take $125 one time and we pay it forward to 3 people one time as an investment of labor, and we teach that duplication. So we're employing artificial intelligence that removes any unnecessary drudgery of a person having to exchange time for money anymore in the 21st century. The promise of blockchain technology that has allowed us to do that because it removes the unnecessary middleman, creating instant cash flow, removes all stickiness out of the movement of money. And where we come in is with this awareness now of cooperative funding, we're able to show a person how to take a one-time out of pocket of $125. And you guys may not know this, but we can show a person how to take $125 and turn that into a $5,000 interest rate in 10 weeks. They can get a 5,000% interest on that money in 10 weeks. And I'm going to break this thing down for you guys here in just a moment. So I wanted to go over that, and I'm glad I did, because I realized that what's happening is that we're saying words without really understanding the value of them. And when we're talking to our friends and family that have no idea of what it is that we're doing, you got to be able to talk to them in layman's terms. Does that make sense, everybody? It's critically important that we do that because it's going over people's heads. I remember the first time someone told me about blockchain. I think it was in 2020, maybe 2014. A dear friend of mine that I trust, but he was talking about this magical digital money and all that, and it was just went right over my head. It wasn't until 2018 that I had my first interaction with it that I understand the power of it. Okay? Now, having said that, let me show you guys this. We're going to go here real quickly. Where's our time at? Okay, great. I want to show you guys this. Okay? And hold on, let me make sure I'm sharing my screen here. I want to show you guys this. And what I want to do here real quickly is just so that you guys understand the time that we live in. Like when people start talking about, well, what's the product and everything like that, people that ask that, it's because they have downloaded the algorithm of the industrial age and thinking that there always has to be a physical product. That was industrial age thinking, because manufacturing made goods. It made products, physical products. We're in the 21st century now. It's all about services. And I want you guys to listen to this short video, and it's going to show you how we've moved away and how manufacturing and all that kind of stuff has declined over time since 1970 to where services now, services like what we provide, are going up, and more importantly, financial services. So check this out, team.
Main reasons in the neoliberal era since the rise of free market fundamentalism in the late 1970s that we've seen the massive deindustrialization of the U.S. economy and other financialized Western economies. They have destroyed their manufacturing sector, and instead, everything has become geared toward the service sector, and in particular, the financial industry. And what we see is that wages in the U.S., compensation has been stagnant ever since the rise of neoliberalism in the 1970s. And at the same time, compensation for workers in the financial sector, bankers, asset managers, these parasites, they have become richer and richer. Their compensation has more than doubled since the early 1980s, whereas the compensation of non-financial workers has been stagnant.
Okay, so when you look at this chart here, you see here where the financial services has continued to climb up. They don't make anything. They just create financial instruments, games, if you will, that people can participate in. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because, see, we're in a service-based industry. What we're doing is completely above board. We're the tip of the spear. We're able to show a person how they can become their own bank. I mean, I think people don't really understand how powerful that is. It's not just a play on words. Literally, there's some of us on this line right now, we have an international bank that we built from the comfort of our own home because we have this wallet that employs artificial intelligence, the promise of blockchain and cooperative funding that's accessible to everyone. Okay?
Main reason.
So here's what I want to really help you guys pay attention to is the evolution of money. And this is for those of you that are kind of new to blockchain and all this kind of stuff. That all money really is just basically information, circulation of information. That's all money is. And some of us have more information than others. That's at the end of the day, it's transportation, literally. And so it's evolved over time. It's nothing more than a barter system, a system of exchange. But you guys know it went from bartering with cows to gold to metal to paper, right? And then when it happened in 1971, that's when it just took off in terms of the inflating of the economy, $35 trillion later, plastic cards, electronic money like PayPal, to now cryptocurrency. Now, here's what I want you guys to understand. Most of us only have heard about cryptocurrency, and we want to get caught up in the cryptocurrency betting and all that kind of stuff, and we've completely forgotten about the power of blockchain. But let me share this with you guys about where money is at right now, okay? Everything is going to be tokenized. Hear me very clearly. Your cousins, your coworkers, most people that you're going to talk to, they don't even know what's happening to the financial ecosystem globally. They don't know that money is being changed to going from digital to tokenization on the blockchain. This is why we're going to be wealthy, extremely wealthy, for those communities that can educate and help people understand this moment in time in history, right? It was just not too long ago. When's the last time, just to talk about evolution of money, when's the last time you actually stood in line behind somebody and they pulled out a checkbook, right? Remember, I mean, I remember like it was yesterday, people used to pull out their checkbooks in the grocery line, to pay for their groceries. If you see somebody pulling out a checkbook today in the line, you'd be like, what is wrong with this person? The same thing is going to be said about money. You're going to be talking about QR codes on a phone that is going to pay for your goods and services here, all on the blockchain and tokenized. So when you look at assets that can be tokenized, any real world asset, okay, can be represented digitally, traded, tracked, and sold. Real estate, commodities, art, stocks and securities, currency, which people get caught up in that, and they don't even understand all these other things that are going to be tokenized because they're not talking about it in mainstream media, but we are, right? So this is the power of Locker Room and things of that nature. We're educating people about what's really going on in this world under the scenes while everyone's getting caught up in political campaigns and all that kind of stuff, distraction factors. Now, the benefits of tokenization is that any real world asset can be tokenized to increase liquidity, meaning how quickly can you turn it into spendable cash? It removes the intermediaries, that's the middle people, and simplify management, instant transactions, okay? I want to show you guys this here real quickly. This is something I've played before. This gentleman's name, his name is Mark Yusko. He's a billionaire hedge fund manager. And I followed him throughout the years. He's one of those people that was on a real conformist, but he began to see the ways about blockchain and things of that nature. I want you guys to listen to what he's saying here. And the reason why I'm going over this is because God knows each and every one of you that's here today, I'm here to tell you that this is the greatest wealth transfer of our time and that you have the opportunity to rewrite your family's history from a financial perspective if you understand this moment in time, right? So let me go ahead and play this for you guys here real quickly. The greatest wealth transfer of our lifetime is happening now.
Every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every bottle of fine wine, every collectible car, every piece of real estate, every private business, everything of value in the world will eventually be a token. This adoption of technology, this evolution, it's not revolution, it's an evolution of technology, that everything of value will be a token on a blockchain. It's literally a line item on a public ledger. Everything of value will be that. And every transaction of value will happen in digital assets. We don't need the pieces of paper. Wipe out all of DTCC, which processes $1.8 quadrillion a year. That is a large number. So that will all move to digital. And when it does, it will create massive wealth, the greatest wealth creation opportunity I'm going to see in my lifetime.
That's where we're at, you guys. For those of you that are on this line today, you're sitting in the modern day gold rush. You're not going to hear about it on mainstream media because they understand that if people were to really understand this moment in time in history about blockchain and things of that nature, then the game is over, okay? So what is decentralized finance and blockchain technology? Simply put, so that you guys can stay with me on this and really understand the value of it. What it does is it harnesses the transformative power of blockchain technology, which we talked about, eliminating middlemen or intermediaries to code. Think about that, to code, all right? Enabling people like you and I direct control over our assets through a secure, transparent, immutable ledger. This is why we're able to be our own bank. So understand it's not a play on words. This is literal and it's happening. It's just that we're focused on the digital real estate. We're not focused on the cryptocurrencies and all that kind of stuff. That's the innovation that comes out of the ground of blockchain. You and I, what we're doing is we're gaining our digital real estate on the blockchain. We're creating a whole economy in the upcoming metaverse that's coming about, you guys. So we are the tip of the spear. What's happening is what I want you guys to really understand. And you may have to look at this over and over again, but trust me, when that light bulb goes off and you understand the power we have our hands on, you are going to lose sleep. So the evolution of money, right, is one thing. And we talked about that, how it's gone from bartering with cows to tokenization, right? But how that value moves also evolves. So you have a lot of people, they're focusing on cryptocurrency, meme coins going up, the next Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff, right? We're not focused on the ICOs and all that kind of stuff. We're focusing on owning the track without having to bet on the horses, which are the tokens. It's the blockchain, you guys. The core wallet and the digital wallet space that we're doing, we're building and gaining our share of the real estate in the new DeFi economy that's global. And we want to get this thing to a point where it's too big to fail. And we got approximately, well, maybe 5.5 years. By 2030, I think the door is going to close, and whoever's gone through that door and has established themselves, they're going to be established forever. And those that are on the outside looking in, they're going to fall prey to a centralized blockchain versus a decentralized one. Please understand what I'm saying to you. This is not conspiracy theory or telling you based on evaluated experience. Okay? Now, here are the key points real quickly. I'm not going to bore you with a whole bunch of stuff here, but the real value too of decentralization key points is there's no single point of failure or authority. Like, see what happened in 2008, for those of you that are old enough to remember they bailed out Wall Street, but not Main Street. People got ruined financially, lost their homes, and it was Wall Street that sold these degenerative financial schemes, okay, variable rate mortgages and all that kind of stuff as triple-rated AAA credit, right? But they bailed out Wall Street, not us. So when you're decentralized and you don't have a single point of failure, now if one of the nodes falls out of whack, all the other nodes keep it alive and working well. So you don't have to bail out just one entity. It distributes responsibility and liquidity to many parties. That would be us. See, we can't sit back and wait on big business and big government to do anything for us. The system is working as planned, whether you realize it or not. It's up to us to become aware, to educate ourselves, to come together as a global community and not be individualistic, and understand that a rising tide does raise all ships. So we, the people, govern the systems that the systems use. That's us. How big this cooperative grows, it's all predicated on us loving each other, trusting each other, having integrity with our word, right? Being coachable, all the things that we should already have anyway, but we've lost our way, competing and everything like that. Those days are over. We want to complete each other. That's what a cooperative does. Okay? So I'm not going to go into this. You guys know about the, pyramid permission and all that kind of stuff. But what I do want to do is talk about this investment of labor, the cooperative funding. All right? The bottom up. I want you guys to really pay attention here, okay? Now, I'm going to go over this and then we're going to wrap it up for today. We turn my camera on, okay? So one of the things that we talk about is investments, right? People want to put their money into 401ks, things of that nature. Think about this. Investing isn't risky in and of itself. The risk is not being in control. You may want to write that down and just marinate on that, okay? So when you have somebody that works for an employer and every paycheck, they're taking their money and allocating it into their 401k, do you think that they really have control over what their money's going to do? Or do they even have an understanding of the mechanics of how it really works in the stock market? Nobody understands how the stock market works because it's a big casino. The house always wins though, right? But people are putting every paycheck into a 401k or something like that, or they'll put their money into percent daily programs. Hear what I'm saying to you. Without really understanding, pulling back the curtain to understand where the percentages come from, even if they're offering a percentage. I want you guys to look at this as an investment of labor. This is a new way of looking at things. You can make money by exchanging time for money, which our schools and institutions taught us how to do that, trading our teachers for bosses and our report cards for paychecks, right? But if we don't work, we have no money coming in. So we become wage slaves. So the next best thing that people do is then they invest their money into the casino, the stock market, the things that they have no control over, but they don't know anywhere else to go. So they rather just gamble their money and put it in there. All right. And then all of a sudden, just before retirement, it plummets 40%. So they got to go back to work and be door greeters at Walmart. And I'm not knocking anybody. If that's in the position that you're in, that's not a knock. I just want to talk real with you guys, right? So now we're introducing the one-time investment of labor. The one-time investment is the 125 for the 3 tokens, right? That's the investment from a monetary standpoint. The labor is a one-time investment of labor where you are giving it forward to 3 friends one time that want to learn how to turn $125 into $175,000 or a 5,000% rate of return that is rooted in 100% choice and not a chance, because we know exactly how it's going to work. Who would not, if you're going to invest your money, you want to mitigate risk. Why would you want to put your money into something that you don't have any control, you can't mitigate risk, and you have the chance of losing everything? Why would you not want to put it into a vehicle that we control and we can see it play out, and it's infinite? So I want you guys to look at this here. I want you guys to look at this in stages, okay? So you guys know that when you activate 3 accounts, let me see activate 3 accounts, you're going to get $29, all right? Now, I'm going to show you guys this. 25% on anyone that you personally introduce, plus whatever percentage on those levels is how it's paid out. So if you guys look at it, $875 times 3 is $26.25. But we have a $1 bonus in our first month. So that's why it comes up to $975. So anytime you guys are doing the demo, this is how the $975 comes about. $975 times 3 is the $29.25. You follow me? So this is the math. So now you've done the one-time investment of labor. Your 125, you've given it forward to 3 people, and you tell your 3 friends, you want to turn $125 and get a 5,000% return in 10 weeks? Just, you don't have to necessarily say that exactly, but understand mentally. I just want you guys to get mental with this thing, because I want you guys to understand the control that we have, that we don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. You don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul. Folks are hurting out here, and we have a solution. So now you're done. Your money's working for you now. The AI is now going to continue to pump your $28 subscription into the ecosystem independent of your involvement. So now your 3 friends, they do the one-time investment of labor. And what are they doing? They're investing in the most valuable resource on the planet, and that's the human resource. That's you and I. There isn't anything more valuable than the human resource. We make the world go round. So then they're going to go ahead and receive the $29 each, but that takes you up to $47, right? You're getting 5% on your money. Now you're up to 5% on your $125 investment at that stage. So you're seeing your rate of return on your money. No guesswork here. You're not throwing it into a 401k and hoping something sticks. We get to control it. These strategic partners, they do the exact same thing one time. They're going to receive this. And now your money, you're talking about 25% plus 10%, 5%, and another 5% from your one-time investment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly how it works. And so all we're talking about doing is giving people a token, paying $125 one time, the investment of money, then a one-time investment of labor, teaching the duplication of that very simple process that removes recruiting out of the equation, because we're paying it forward. And all they have to do is do that one time. And this is the kind of money that can be generated for everyone with no isms involved. It doesn't care about your race, your religion, how old you are. None of that matters here. We're talking about a one-time execution, right? And you go up the escalator. And the other beautiful thing about it is this: 10 weeks is going to come anyway, God willing. When you're talking to your friends and family, 10 weeks is going to come and go anyway, God willing. And if they continue to do what they're doing right now, they already know what their life is going to look like 10 weeks from today. So we can show them and say, listen, you already know what your life is going to look like 10 weeks from today. Let's you and I give it a try. The worst thing that could happen is that we blow $125. That's the worst thing that could happen. And we've done that on suits, shoes, going to movies. But what's the best thing that can happen? Cousin, friend, uncle, coworker. We get wealthy together and we change our family tree's last name forever. So you want to start talking in those terms. Get them to start thinking about the 10 weeks going to come and go anyway. Let's give a chance. Let's do this, especially if the numbers work as advertised. Make sense? And we already know that the Mobius loop, it will continue. It's infinite. So this is for everybody on planet Earth, is the point that I want to make to everybody here. Okay? So I wanted to share that with you guys today. It just gives some perspective. Hopefully you guys were able to, to see the value of that in terms of that kind of perspective, in terms of how you want to communicate with people moving forward, to help you just become more of that leader and just your posture and your position moving forward, team. All right. And I will share this with you guys as I wrap it up, and I'll start taking questions here, is, folks are hurting out here. I mean, real talk. Some of you on this line right now, right? And I've said this before. My grandmother said our stories may be different, but our pain is still the same. Some of you, I don't know your story, but some of you on this line right now, you're dealing with some real ish right now, whether it's financial, whether it's health, or whatever the case may be. We're here for you, right? We're a solution, right? We're not here to judge you. This is a safe place to say, you know what? Let me go ahead and build this with a community of people that want to see me win. That's what this is all about. I'll give you an example. I had a gentleman, I built a tiny house in my backyard that I'm going to Airbnb out, right? And it's a project that we're working on. And there's a guy that came and he scammed me for $7,000, right? He said he's going to do the work, gave him $7,000. He hasn't shown up. Now, my initial reaction was, you're taking food off my table. I start thinking about my kids, my family, things of that nature, right? So come to find out, he's been a serial con and everything like that, but so we went through the court to try to get our money back. Come to find out, he's committed suicide. About 3 weeks ago, committed suicide. So me being a reflective person, I thought about how I was acting and everything like that, and it wasn't right, but I began to really think about, this gentleman, how depressed you have to be to want to take your life. And it began to make me think and be grateful for what I do have. If that makes sense to everybody, that there are people out here that are hurting deeply. There are men out here, they don't have friendships and relationships out here, right? This is real talk. So what we're doing as a global community is we're changing that complexion. We're brothers, we're sisters, we're family, and we have to be the example that we want to see in the world. And I'm not on my soapbox here. I'm just telling you, we're not here to waste time on Saturdays. We could be doing something else with our time. We're here to have impact in the world. We have something in the palm of our hands that can make it happen. So all hands on deck. We're a rising tide. Our awareness is the rising tide that raises all ships. And that's how it happens. So hopefully you guys were able to get something out of the day. But go after your goals and dreams with reckless abandonment, you guys. We're hope for a hurting world. So that's what I got for you guys today. Anybody want to, comment, just raise your hand and I'll ask, answer any questions that anybody may have. I'll start off with Linda. Hey, Linda.
I don't know how to raise my hand on here.
Down at the bottom, you'll see a reaction icon, and then you can find a raise hand there. Okay. Hey, Linda, how are you?
Hello, Greg. I love you.
I love you too, sister.
Every week, this week I did an SPM, and I had a guy ask me, What was the added value? What's the added value? You know, other places have products. And I don't exactly remember what I said to him, but eventually I figured out what he wanted, what he meant by that, and I was able to say something. But what's most magical to me is when those things happen during my week, inevitably you give me the answer on Saturday. I can't tell you how many times that has happened over the last time, all the time I've been with you. It's like magic. it's like, and even though I'm not one of the leaders monetarily, I know this stuff in and out, a lot of it. And I know I bring that energy to the group, even if I can't articulate it very well. And you help turn it into words that make it for the common people. So I have a question of my still point is the token. I get, okay, the token is the cattle, the thing that's on the farm, like you took the picture, but I still have a struggle with how to communicate that simply to other people when, you know, in a way that is more granular.
Give me put in a question for me, then I can help you out that way. Give me some context, and then maybe I can assist that way.
Well, even just, people are like, well, what is this token on co-op?
Gotcha.
You know, what is it?
Gotcha. It's just how value is moving. And use the example of, you know, checks, or before the plastic even. Before there was plastic, there was just cash. You know, depending on how old they are, you can relate to them on that level in terms of just giving them the examples on how value has evolved over time. And asking the question, when's the last time you've seen someone write a check in a line? So it's just tokens is where everything is going. Everything is going to be tokenized, if you will. And that's just the evolution of money. And you're not going to hear about it on mainstream media, but everything is tokenized. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So use the evolution of money, basically, from wherever they're at to where we are now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The evolution of money, what it's all about.
In the tokenization of everything, how does it not become centralized? How does all of those things stay decentralized? I see how we do it within our ecosystem, but out there in, let's say, the real estate market or something like that.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to become centralized. But what we're doing is creating an environment that hedges against that. We don't want to just be imprisoned by that. We're doing something that gives us the freedom, because I can go into universal basic income. I'll probably talk about that at some other time. Like, we're being set up, you guys, to just where they're going to give us a stipend on the blockchain. But that's going to come. There's going to come with some freedoms being exchanged for that. But that's a whole nother conversation. But just focus really on what we're doing, that we're a decentralized environment. And here's the thing, because we're our own bank, we can now have the money to create our own decentralized tokenization of real estate, our own decentralized, social media platform. See, this thing is major league stuff when you're talking about being a bank. So we don't have to just wait and play in their arena. We have the opportunity to create our own arena.
Well, we're really creating a universal basic income cooperatively rather than...
No strings attached.
No strings attached, yes. Thank you, Greg.
You got it, Linda. Hey, Rebecca, how are you?
I'm great, Greg. How are you?
Really good, thanks.
Good. I know you said every call can't be recorded, but this call has really answered a lot of questions. And for my 3 that is about to have to buy all 3 new tokens again because they're having trouble recruiting people, which is also asking a lot of these questions that was answered today. So is there any way that this could be recorded so that I can get this to them, because they were not able to be on the training today because they're all of them are at work?
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll put this one back there in the back office.
All right, great. I
Greg,
appreciate it.
Greg, this is Lady Z. I can't find the button. Are we protected from whatever political systems is going on? Everybody knows that in the United States, the elections is coming up, and we don't know what the potential outcome is going to be. Are we going to be protected at least until we can get this thing up and running, or will this new government have a problem?
No, it's one of those things where that's the whole thing too. We have to change the mindset about being protected and all that. And, my thing is this, is like the government works for us. We've lost, I don't know what happened before I hit this planet, how it flip-flopped, how all of a sudden they get to dictate everything. But here's the thing, blockchain is here to stay. It's like trying to put toothpaste back into a tube, right? The genie's out the bottle at this moment in time. And there's going to always be people that's going to be able to create innovations to keep this alive. The key is that they control, when I say they, a lot of people aren't aware of the profound effects of blockchain because they're not going to talk about it on mainstream media. This is not something that they want people to understand. I mean, are you serious? So this is why, I was talking to Brother Shahid. This is a mission-driven grassroots movement.
Okay,
talking about
makes sense.
All right? So we're not going to focus on what they can or may do or whatever the case may be. We're going to focus on what we can do and have control over. And I know that if we get this thing to a point, it can get to a point of no return, a tipping point where it's too big to fail. And that's our focus right now. So having said that, we got to move faster. We got to, folks moving too slow here. We got to stop praying about it and all that. Look, let's roll. Let's pass these tokens like a baton, cat quick.
Okay, thank you.
You got it, Lady Z. Tahira, how are you?
I am well, Greg. Thank you so much. You answered, like everyone before me said, so many questions today. And I'm so glad it's going to be in our library. And I know 3 questions. I just don't know if I can remember them all because everybody's, anyway. So question number 1, I had a prospect ask me, well, if the coins, if the Bitcoin or the coin Ethereum go up and down, does that affect our tokens? And I was like, no, we're not trading. We're not trading. We are. And I didn't know what to follow the we are for. I'm like, what are we doing? Why doesn't it affect, why don't the up and down of the coins? Because we're buying the track, not betting on the horses.
Exactly.
I'm not sure how to put that in layman's terms where someone else would understand.
Right. When we say we get to own the track without betting on the horses, is that when you own the track, people have to pay for their horse, which could be a coin, to actually run on the track. See, Coinbase is going to make money irregardless. Okay. So the bottom line is that we're not speculating on whether a coin goes up or down based on people's adoption of said coin. We're just facilitating the ability to connect digital wallets. All right, which I want you guys to look at like housing and digital real estate. Like we are literally creating our own economy in the metaverse where everything is going anyway, right? And so that's exactly what it is that we're doing. So that's the best way I can explain it, to people. I'm like a freestyle rapper, to be honest with you. Depends on what comes at me is how I respond. So I don't have a canned answer for everything.
Yes.
I just put things, it has to be in context with me.
And you do so well. I'll listen to this recording over and over and take notes. Another question I have, I was looking at ways to pay like my mortgage and other bills with cryptocurrency. And I ran into what they call BitPay. And, I just wanted to ask, do you know any other way, any ways? I know you can do it. I know everybody's taking cryptocurrency. So what's the best avenue to do that?
Now, in terms of paying for your mortgage and everything?
Yes.
What you're saying? I'm not really sure. I can't give you an answer to that. I've heard of BitPay. Haven't used it. I believe Valencia Rowe actually knows more about that, and we may have her speak to that at some point in time. But let me share with you guys this. The vision that I see us having is where we're able to not even have to come up for air. Because we have so many people, we have vendors, we have brokers, we have agents, we have everything that we need that has a wallet within our ecosystem that we just pay them directly. So that's the ultimate vision. But in terms of being able to do that right now, the only way that I know to do it is basically bring it up for air, through an exchange into the bank and pay your bills as usual.
That's what I was asked. Try not to let it come up for air.
Yeah.
And third question, I think it got answered, but I'm complete. Thank you so much. And I will listen to this over and over again.
My
It's
pleasure.
so rich. Thank you.
My pleasure. Definitely. Rander Thompson, how are you?
Sorry, hey, yeah, I'm Becky Cowan. That's my husband's Zoom
Okay.
thing,
Hey,
and forgot to change it. But listen, question, yeah, what you're doing is great, and I love the fact that you're bringing up some of the harder questions for us to kind of relate to folks and have them understand. Would you do me a favor, bring back that screenshot from the bartering to the metal to all that?
Let me see.
Appreciate.
Mm-hmm. Let me get myself out of the way too as we do that.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
All right.
I appreciate you
All right.
thoroughly.
My pleasure.
Okay. And the next one, that next one you did, that would be good too. That next image.
Let's see. This one?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, you're the best. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you, sis. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Reverend Charles Thomas, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Greg. Listen, let me throw 2 cents out here to people who are learning this business. Okay, please write down 067. Okay,
Say it again, Reverend Thomas, because you faded out for a second.
please write down Executive Order 14067. Okay, Biden signed that into place 2 years ago. And listen to just a quick rundown as to what it is, because when you talk about us being the tip of the spear, okay, in a closed community and tokens, listen to this, please. The executive order focuses on 2 main points: to promote innovation in the digital asset space, 2, to balance this innovation with regulatory oversight in anticipation of a U.S. central bank digital currency. That's tokens. Greg just said everything is moving to digital currency. Your government Biden signed into place an executive order where they are anticipating and coming up with regulations because they are afraid of what will happen if people go independent on blockchain technology. Please take this and run with it. Learn about it later, but run with it now. Okay? And Greg, my final thing is, listen, they said they want to promote access to affordable financial services. Well, Greg, I'm sorry. They're promoting affordable access to financial services. That's BlackRock. That's Visa. Okay. The government is planning to come up with a digital currency that will be accessible to these people. Thank you, Greg, for today. Okay. I'm going to suggest to the people who are in here on my success line, we're going to get together this week and we're going to change. We're going back to school. We're going to change the way we talk. We need to understand the language of financial services. That's our task this week.
Amen, Coach Thomas. Amen, Coach Thomas.
Absolutely. I love
Be
it.
quiet.
Recording stopped.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, it's just powerful words. And here's the thing that I want you guys to understand too. The reason why we share these things with you, and I think I've shared it before. I was having a conversation, is that, and I think I put in Telegram, we're talking about true soldiers. They don't fight, because they hate what's in front of them, right? The government, everything, they're going to do what they do. But true soldiers, they fight because they love what's behind them. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's what we're doing. This is being shown not so that we can just fight against them, because we can't. There's way too many people that's sleeping at the wheel. We're doing it because we love the people that's behind us, our kids, our grandkids, our unborn great-grands, and all that kind of stuff. In this moment in time in history, we have an opportunity to put our fingerprints on what's going to happen in our global economy. And so it's our job on a grassroots level to educate people and get them just to get these tokens and pay it forward very, very quickly. When they get involved in our environment, they'll get the education and the understanding of its real value at that moment in time. Thank you so much for that, Reverend Thomas. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Pam Meyer.
Hi, Greg. Awesome, 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 awesome. I love how you went over the terms. Oh, so much from this. Okay, my background, federal law enforcement again.
That's right.
I worked on money laundering cases, fraud cases. The bottom line is, and what we should emphasize is, we were the first decentralized private wallet, digital wallet. Everyone else has copied it and benefited from it. AI, we get our return immediately. You can see it. You can show it in the demos. But what I really wanted to concentrate on is the centralized versus decentralized, as several people mentioned, security or protection. Even withdrawing your money is requiring verification, things like that. Yes, we want to stay in the whole ecosystem if we can, which would be awesome, exchanging through our co-op wallets versus coming up for air. But this is the whole thing. You're mentioning the executive order, and I'm glad you did that, Reverend, because any fraud that takes place, and Greg, you mentioned it, it's not the investment that is risky, it's the lack of control. Any fraud is perpetrated by gaining control. The whole idea behind our government creating centralized digital currency is for them to get control back.
Yes.
How many stories do we see in the headlines where women's or men and women's accounts are seized by their bank and they have no recourse? Banks are going out of business. It's all to gain control of your money. And decentralized, and especially private, they have no way of gaining it. There is no one point. And you said at one point, Greg, you said we want to become too large to fail. I think we're there already, because there is no central point where they can get in and grab your money and dictate to you what you can and can't buy, where you have to be, whatever, okay? It's all about control. If they think if they control our money, they control our lives, and to a great extent, it's true. The whole decentralized blockchain is, I mean, that's it. That's it. That's why they're panicking and trying to put it back into centralization. The federal bank is not federal. Mm-hmm. And they control us, and they're educating us, if you want to call it educating us. They're propagandizing us or hypnotizing us into be their slave wages. So, and the fact that it's a cooperative and it's a legacy, especially if you go after your family members first, then go after your friends. You've got it all in the family. your children don't have to go out and work a job, if you can find one, at McDonald's or whatever, to pay for their college if they want to go to college. Get all their friends' parents on board in the co-op. It'll pay for your education. It'll pay. It's the asset that buys all other assets. And it's unending. We get to choose. We get to choose. I just so grateful. And again, I really want to emphasize it's a cooperative. We're like a closed, our own ecosystem. We get to grow it. And when we grow it, it grows. And we're going to have many businesses taking a good look at this. Because if you present this to a wealthy person versus an indoctrinated poor person who thinks they got to work and get a second job for a living, the wealthy person's going to get it. They don't buy liabilities. They buy assets to buy whatever they want to improve their luxury and whatever in life. And this is the way to go. It's on everything. It's on the blockchain. It's private. It's decentralized. It's tokens. It's the answer. And to answer Linda's question about how you can explain this to a person where they don't understand tokens, I'm glad you answered that in a way with we who've been alive long enough went from checkbooks to credit cards to debit cards. The debit card represents all the money you have in the bank. Our tokens are going to represent any asset we have, whether it's real estate, money,
Hey, Pam,
car, whatever.
Just real quickly, because we want to, respect everyone's time. We got that. We just got a few more people that got their hands raised up. And so
Thank you, Greg.
I appreciate you, though. Thank you for what you just shared. Okay. Hey, Diane, how are you?
I'm doing great. Great presentation. Well, I just want to tell you I'm 62 years old and I'm not very good at baseball. When I was going to school, I would close my eyes when the ball was coming towards me. So I'm having a little bit of trouble learning the baseball game, but I'm going to get good at it. And that's a good analogy of so I'm going to study it this week and I'm going to learn how to play baseball.
Absolutely. I love it, Diane. And you got it. Make sure that self-talk is where your glass is half full. You're going to be a professional baseball player. Fantastic.
Have a great day.
You too. Okay. Elaine Gill, how you doing? Let's see here. Can you unmute Elaine? Okay. We'll come back if need be. Hey, Sandra, how are you?
Hey, Greg, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. That's my second time on here, and oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you for the way you explain blockchain and the baseball. Oh my gosh, I feel like my head is like, And my question is, the way you explain it as this is our own bank. Now, with my regular bank that I have money in, can I withdraw my money and put it in my bank and use my bank to pay the stuff that I pay?
So you're talking about take money out of your bank, that's fiat bank, and put it into the cold wallet and pay?
Right.
Right now, no.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah, at this moment in time, what we're doing actually is like we're in like we call phase one.
Right.
We're building the infrastructure, and it gets to a point where you have so much money moving in our ecosystem. So many people have wallets, kind of like Cash App
Right.
here. Once they got to a certain number, I think once they got to like maybe it's 20 million users or whatever the case may be, merchants came knocking on their door and say, hey, listen, we want to give you either discounts or whatever the case may be. And so Cash App has even evolved. PayPal's evolved. And we're not going to be any different. We're going to evolve as well. But the first thing that we have to do is connect these wallets, get this global network in order. And any merchant with any good common sense is going to be like, I want to get a piece of that action. And so that's going to be the next phase. But right now we're in phase 1. So that was a long-winded way of saying, no, you can't do it right now. So right now you have to withdraw your earnings from Co-op Wallet, go through an exchange to your bank and pay it as usual for right now.
Okay, no problem.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Really appreciate it. And I'll be watching this again over and over and get my head wrapped around it. But thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where are you from, Sandra?
I'm from the islands, but I live in Canada.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome. Glad to have you on board for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, good deal, you guys. Well, listen, we were a little bit longer than normal, but I think it was important. I love the feedback and everything like that, team. But listen, it's just time to go to work now and understand this. Just take action. That's the main thing. Take action. Okay. Brother Eric, did you raise your hand? I can't see. Did you raise your hand, Brother Eric?
I did, but if there's no time for it, it's okay.
No. Go ahead, man. Absolutely.
I don't want people to lose the basic points in all that Brother Greg shared earlier. Analyze why some are successful or moving forward successfully with the opportunity and others may not be. The SPM, the strategic partner meetings,
yes.
We organize a lot of them, but as leaders, we also have to do them. Doug and I do them, Brother Greg and obviously Sister Bridget and bishops and Copeland and others. I mean, not Copeland, but you understand. We have to take action in order to get the reward we want. This was phenomenal training. Don't just take it as a good record that you play over and over and over and over.
Thank you, Brian.
You know, and I just appreciate it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And take those jewels that will propel your business, that will launch your business, but make the difference in your business by making the commitment.
Absolutely. Well said.
Brother Greg, I know you're rushing. Can you indulge me? A couple weeks ago, you played a video, a short video, explaining the digital wallet, the Co-op wallet. How can I access that video? It was a short video, maybe a minute, less than a minute.
Right. I'm going to talk to some leaders. We're trying to keep that in-house simply because when we have our team meeting, we want to have something that people can come to that's a little bit different than the regular meetings, if you will. So I'll talk to Eric Muhammad and Doug and some others and see how we want to go about rolling that out. And so I'll talk to them and we'll let you know about that.
Or anything else that explains the wallet in video form.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll work something out. We'll work something out. All right.
Okay,
Fantastic. My pleasure. But as we wrap this thing up, I want to say thank you for that. You know, Brother Eric Muhammad, it is about taking action now. It's not about, analyzing until you're paralyzed. It's really about the SPM getting on the phone today with those friends and say, listen, I need you to get on the line with me and you do a PDF, do a Zoom meeting yourself. And then promote the Monday night meeting. It's all about action because if you just study videos over and over again, you're not going to have that residual cash flow coming your way. Remember, progress over perfection, growth over destination. So as we end all of our presentations and trainings, team, we're not just going to see you at the top. We look forward to seeing each and every last one of you over the top. Take care, everybody. God bless.
Thanks, Greg.
All right.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg.